Good evening. So far, humanity was bragging about their providing different kinds of services like material services, economic services, cultural services, medical services, etc., etc. But we have forgotten an important service from ecosystems. They are known as the ecosystem free services. We have been talking about our medical achievements, our architectural marvels like Petronas Towers in Malaysia, Burj Khalifa in Dubai, New York Twin Towers, of course, it's gone. And we have been bragging about Taj Mahal. And we have been bragging about our economic growth, GDP. We have been bragging about so many other things, isn't it? The human bragging. Only we are the masterpiece species, nobody else. Out of ignorance, we have been inflating our own ego, our own hubris, only our achievements, our services. And we talk about so many things like building temples and basilicas. All of them are human achievements, and we always talk that we have created them. But we have forgotten something more important than anything else: ecosystem free services. It is mysterious. Ecosystem doesn't brag about it. Just the outbreak of COVID-19 make us or provoke us not to look into the human achievements or human services. They are okay. They're okay. But not like the ecosystem services. This is the most fundamental service provider. If ecosystem services are not available, if they are switched off, nothing will work. We can't provide human services also. So, for example, free services, ecosystems. Some of the examples are free oxygen, recycling waste, pollination of crops, controlling the climate, watering plants with rain, filtration of water supplies, providing wild fish for food. These are some of the ecosystem free services. Actually, the United Nations Millennium ecosystem assessment really divides ecosystem services into 4 categories. They are known as provisioning services, regulating services, cultural services, and supporting services. First, it's about the provisioning services. These are the products that humans obtain from the environment. This huge category includes food, crops, livestock, and wild fish, fiber for clothing, fuel, and fresh water. The second, it's about the regulating services. Natural systems maintain the balance between oxygen and carbon dioxide, keep Earth's temperature within livable boundaries. buffer against natural hazards such as flood, hurricanes, and erosion, and also control the spread of disease. Actually, coronavirus is not controlled by humans, not by your technology, not by your material wealth or cultural wealth. It is controlled by ecosystem-free service. The third, it is about the cultural services. They are defined as non-material benefits such as spiritual enrichment, experience of beauty, inspiration, cultural heritage, chances for recreation, and the influence of environment on how societies develop. In simple words, cultural service means people spend billions of dollars to go to the mountains, to go to the forest, to go to the animal sanctuaries. Tourism, in other words. Yeah, we want to go and visit natural places. It is known as cultural service. The last fourth one is, it's about the supporting services. They include photosynthesis to support food production, chemical and biological processes for nutrient cycling, pollination and seed dispersal, and the work of decomposers to support soil formation. Hey, don't forget that microorganisms, we don't see them, they're invisible, but they're working billions of years to keep this soil healthy and productive. All these services, provisioning services, regulating services, cultural services, supporting services, free of charge. They are known as the ecosystem free services. We have been ignorant. We have been naive. In fact, we were stupid. Yeah. We thought only we are gods. We have everything. We know better. And we have taken the place of God. That is the biggest arrogant behavior for Homo sapiens. In fact, Saint Pope John Paul II in Centesimus Annus, the encyclical, in the encyclical paragraph number 37, Saint is writing as follows. Instead of carrying out his role as a cooperator with God in the work of creation, man sets himself up in place of God and thus ends up provoking a rebellion on the part of nature, which is more tyrannized than governed by him. These words are very profound and they come from Saint Pope John Paul II. Actually, we have been systematically destroying all the ecosystem-free services like deforestation, like destroying the rivers, lakes, destroying the wetlands. Actually, the Scottish ecologist John Muir has a beautiful quote regarding destroying the free services of an ecosystem, like deforesting trees. Trees provide free oxygen. They create rain clouds absolutely free. It is called transpiration. While you cut off trees, you switch off the free services of an ecosystem. John Muir quote is so beautiful. It is funny, but it's beautiful. I want to read that quote. Actually, he's looking at the redwoods. They are tall. They are about 275 feet tall. Their habitat is in California, the Pacific coast. So people were cutting those trees. They have been existing millions of years. Only man came and destroyed them. Before that, God was taking care of them. Here is the quote. God has cared for these trees, saved them from drought, disease, avalanches, and 1,000 tempests and floods. But He cannot save them from fool. God cannot save these trees from fool. In Laudato Si, Pope Francis is talking about the free services in the paragraph number 140. Pope is writing as follows: although we are often not aware of it, we depend on these larger systems for our own existence. We need only recall how ecosystems interact in dispersing carbon dioxide, purifying water, controlling illnesses and epidemics, farming soil, breaking down waste, and in many other ways which we overlook or simply do not know about. Once they become conscious of this, many people realize that we live and act on the basis of a reality which has previously been given to us, which precedes our own existence and our abilities. So, when we speak of sustainable use, consideration must always be given to each ecosystem's regenerative ability in its different areas and aspects. Then we come to the paragraph number 38. He talks about the ecosystem free services, again in a global level. Let us mention, the Pontiff writes, for example, those richly biodiverse lungs of our planet, which are the Amazon and the Congo Basin, or the great aquifers and glaciers. We know how important these are for the entire earth and for the future of humanity. The ecosystems of tropical forests possess an enormously complex biodiversity which is almost impossible to appreciate fully. Yet, when these forests are burned down or leveled for purposes of cultivation, within the space of a few years, countless species are lost, and the areas frequently become arid wastelands. A delicate balance has to be maintained when speaking about these places, for we cannot overlook the huge global economic interest which, under the guise of protecting them, can undermine the sovereignty of individual nations. In fact, there are proposals to internationalize the Amazon, which only serve the economic interest of transnational corporations. We cannot fail to praise the commitment of international agencies and civil society organizations which draw public attention to these issues and offer critical cooperation employing legitimate means of pressure to ensure that each government carries out its proper and inalienable responsibility to preserve its country's environment and natural resources without capitulating to spurious local or international interest. The last quote from the Pontiff from Laudato Si, from the paragraph number 39 as follows: the replacement of virgin forest with plantation of trees, usually monocultures, is rarely adequately analyzed. Yet this can seriously compromise biodiversity, which the new species being introduced does not accommodate. Similarly, wetlands converted into cultivated land lose the enormous biodiversity which they formerly hosted. In some coastal areas, the disappearance of ecosystems sustained by mangrove swamps is a source of serious concern. All right, so now from the book of Deuteronomy, I'm going to give a quote. It talks about the value of ecosystem-free services and about biodiversity. It is from the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 22, verse 6 to 7. When you come across a bird's nest alongside the road, whether in a tree or on the ground, and the mother is sitting on the young or on the eggs, don't take the mother with the young. You must take the babies, but let the mother go, so that you will live a good and long life. In these verses, the Bible is telling us, when you see a bird's nest, don't take the mother, because mother is going to lay eggs again and again and again. And it's going to produce more chicks. So the Bible is telling you, take the chicks when they are big enough. Take the chicks. Leave the mother to provide ecosystem-free services. Such a beautiful words from the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 22, 6, 7. One more time I want to read, and let me close this talk. When you come across a bird's nest alongside the road, whether in a tree or on the ground, and the mother is sitting on the young or on the eggs, don't take the mother with the young. You may take the babies, but let the mother go, so that you will live a good and long life. My dear brothers and sisters, days are over bragging about human achievements, bragging about human services like medical services, cultural services, economic services. Over. Talk about the free services of an ecosystem. So far, humans, we never talked about them. Only anthropocentric, only human achievements, nothing else. Why don't you talk about the biocentric? Why don't you talk about the greatest service provided for the past 15 billion years? Human services were provided only 4 million years. When humans disappear, your services, please take them with you. Take them with you. But nature will continue. Ecosystems will continue to provide free services forever and ever. Amen. Thank you.